Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, StrangeNet here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Eve Vanguard, and the fact that we get to engage with it in 4 days and 19 hours, and I'm getting particularly excited all round. So with Eve numbers being up and Vanguard releasing in 5 days, the future of Eve is looking brighter than it has done for a good while, and excited to see that. And one of the things I've been really hopeful for as well is that Vanguard will be integrated into the Eve client, and basically you'll be able to play it if you're an Omega subscriber. And again, I quite like that. A lot of the other projects that they've done, like Dust 541 was on PlayStation 4, Eve is on PC, so again, never got to play that. We've had Valkyrie and Gunjack, which have been VR and other bits and bobs, and again, never felt part of Eve, and it has always been relatively disconnected, so it's nice for once that this will be part and parcel of the client. And if you are Omega, you will be able to obviously partake in Eve Online, which is great, and you'll also have Valkyrie and vice versa. So it will be nice to see the transition between, hopefully, people come in to try Valkyrie that might try Eve Online and vice versa. Now, if you're anything like me, you're mid-40s, and again, I try and stay away from Twitch games, because the only thing with Twitch nowadays are my involuntary muscle spasms. But hey-ho, I'm looking forward to actually trying this, although you probably won't want me on your team, but hey-ho, I'll be there anyway. And again, just looking at the gameplay here, you know, visually, it's actually really, really good. I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, I'm not going to lie, but you know, visually, can't really knock it. I'm sure, again, this is a pre-alpha build, so again, the graphics could be improved. But it's nice to see CCP making some good decisions here all round. And again, just the tying of the two games together. They could have sold it as a standalone game, which again would have probably made them an initial decent amount of money. But by having it integrated, obviously, you get the two games. And that just gives it better value for money. And with the Eve subscription obviously going up, well, last year sometime, that it just gives you a bit more bang for your buck and extra in the Eve sphere. And, you know, got to applaud them for that, because they could have quite easily have charged for it instead of making it part and parcel. And again, this is, yeah, they could end up splitting it in the end once we've beta tested it and the rest of it. I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping this is the direction they go, and I think it's a pretty solid direction, to be perfectly honest. Also, the fact that it's tied to Eve Online, and again, you can play it as an Omega player if you're an Eve player, I think will give Vanguard a lot more longevity life with it, because again, if it does have specific stakes in Eve Online that can affect some of the mechanics, then obviously there will be a need or a want in order to play it, to push it, in order to reach firm objectives, depending how it ties in. And again, it's just a good way of integrating both together and just ensuring that the game has some staying power, and that it's not just a one-day wonder that everybody plays for the first 20 minutes, gets bored, and continues. What I do worry somewhat about, or worry is not quite right, but where some of the disconnect comes from, I think, obviously, Valkyrie is going to be a little bit more instant gratification. It's going to appeal to a younger audience, and trying to get people to either go from Eve to Valkyrie or Valkyrie to Eve, where Eve is obviously a very slow burn of a game. It takes a lot of patience. If you want to achieve anything, you've got to invest a decent amount of time, and again, nothing comes quickly, and it all needs to be worked for. So it will be interesting to see the numbers and how that relates to the kind of transitional period there, where, so say, you've got instant gratification versus long-term dedicated players, and how that will work. But again, having them both tied together ensures that obviously Vanguard will be around for a good while at least. Now, obviously, with CCP stating that there will be crossovers and things that you'll have to do in Vanguard which will affect Eve Online, I like that. Obviously, it ties the two together, but again, they have to be careful what that is, because obviously, you know, Eve's population, although rising at the moment, is relatively small, and again, if you're forcing people away from Eve Online onto Vanguard in order to be able to complete objectives in Vanguard that they'll need in Eve Online, then you're forcing people into a type of gameplay that they may not enjoy or that will have to participate in order to be able to achieve what they want. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all ties together, and whether it's meaningful enough but not game breaking enough that you have to play it in order, you don't want to be a hybrid in between the two games in order to be able to complete anything. Now, I was invited to the partner stream on Thursday. I didn't manage to make it, unfortunately. So I've not, and again, if I had, I'd have had to have signed an NDA, so I wouldn't really be able to talk about any of it anyway. But as it currently stands, I didn't participate in that, so I'm not bound by any NDA, etc. Would have been good to have seen it firsthand and actually got to have played it slightly earlier. I know there was an open test for everybody a week and a half ago. But yeah, I didn't get to play that either. So when it will be my first go when this actually does drop. I am actually looking forward to it. And again, props to CCP for actually creating some excitement with the Havoc expansion, with Down the Rabbit Hole that released and the rest of it. They helped promote that as well. So, props to them for really pushing it out there and, creating some hype behind Eve for once. And again, Eve is one of them games that just kind of trundles along, and so props to CCP for creating the excitement that's coming with this, and again, getting people back interested. If you've been on Reddit any time recently, there are a lot of people coming back asking, is it worth coming back? How did they get going? Been away for 10 years. So, people are taking notice, and, it's just pushing things forward, which, CCP haven't always been the best at either promoting, pushing, or, you've just kind of, as I said, just kind of stays in that stagnant state. So the fact that, again, expansions are coming, them expansions are creating excitement, and that gets people involved, it gets people back, it gets people looking forward to what's coming next. And whether, the Havoc expansion for faction warfare, I've dabbled in it, but again, it's not an area that really affects me a great deal directly. But again, if they're using it as a test bed as such for mechanics for Sov warfare, for nullsec and the rest of it, then it's got a bigger picture and bridge that will bring it to the rest of Eve, and again, just pushing the game forward and less stagnation, giving people something just to look forward to and to get excited about for when it does drop. And it's not, over the years, CCP have made some blunders, but I think, when they do things right, it's good to, call that out as well and, say well done for pushing things in the right direction. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait until this actually drops specifically, but, from what has been shown, visually, it's looking very good. Some of these pictures here look great. That one's a bit naff, but again, this is pre-alpha, so just the different atmospheres, like this one, the red one, the fire, the afterburners there, they look like pod sacks, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to be, but again, look forward to finding out, and whether, so say, that'll have any effect on Eve directly. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been able to get excited and look forward to something, very much so. And props to CCP for giving us that kind of excitement, and again, tying it all in and having it on a client that the vast majority of people can, well, anybody that plays Eve can participate in. I think that's the biggie in tying the two clients together. Given the fact, if this had been a first-person shooter that I had to pay for separately, I probably wouldn't be buying it, because I said, first-person shooters aren't really my thing. They might have been 20 years ago, but again, I'm old and slow nowadays, but the fact that it will be accessible to everybody that has the Eve client and has Omega, then, this will make it accessible to everybody, and people that might not have tried it will try it. And again, that will encourage people to go Omega. That brings in more revenue for CCP, and that helps to improve our game further and push the envelope. You see, just that picture there looks fantastic. So, yeah. So I'd like to hear what you guys think. Are you looking forward to it? Is it going to be something that you're going to participate in? Is it something that's exciting you, or did you not know about it? I'd be surprised if you don't, but The fact that this is tied to the new launcher, which you will have to download in order to use, but I think that's being rolled out forcefully on the 5th of December, and that you'll have to use the new launcher whether you like it or not. The old one will not work. I'd highly encourage you to download the new one, get used to using it. It does have some good features. I'm on the fence at the moment of whether I actually like it, but again, I'm going to have to use it regardless of whether I like it. And I imagine the new launcher is here because of Vanguard, and that basically we've needed to rewrite the launcher in order to make it compatible and the rest of it, because the character for Vanguard is in your character selection for the rest of your characters. So your login characters, you'll now have 4 characters. So with that, thank you for your time, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.